When something happens to you, are you possessed right now?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Today we're going through all the reasons why we love Halloween.
There's so many components to Halloween. It's like costumes and decorating and haunted houses and warm, cozy drinks. It's everything that goes into it. So I feel like the one holiday that has so many aspects to it.
There's so much special stuff about it that's very unique to that time of the year that is just something to look forward to, is kind of different and is a way to celebrate in an over-the-top sort of way.
Feels like I'm in space in here.
Broadest holiday, I think. There's the most to do, which makes it the most fun because there's something for everyone.
It's just fun. Like, you've had a really long year. It's the 10th month of the year, and it's time to slow down and relax, and Halloween is the start of that.
And the great thing about Halloween, it is that like transition and that transformation time of year.
I love fall, honestly. It's probably my favorite season.
The weather changes, the mood changes, just the energy, like everything about it is just this shift.
It's chilly and cold, and you're having a nice hot drink. It's just awesome. I love that.
Like, I'm making soup, I'm drinking mulled wine, I'm drinking hot coffee in the morning. All the warm, delicious things.
Pumpkin spice is delicious, but anything like apple or caramel is also like amazing, even with some cinnamon too.
Cinnamon is the spice to end all fall spices.
One of the best spices. It probably is the best spice. Just any time.
And I like a good cocoa during Halloween. It's because I have a memory tied to that. I went to a haunted house on Halloween, all dressed up. It was like one of the coldest nights on record. They had like a little hot cocoa station outside, and we had like the world's best hot chocolate, maybe because we were just super freezing.
From your perspective, what makes a perfect best haunted house experience?
If there's happiness and joy at the end.
Don't like haunted houses.
I hate them so much.
So I am not one of those people who thinks it's real, except for in the back of my mind, I go, what if there's a real murderer hiding amongst all these performers?
Exactly.
I don't want to go into a house and have people touching me and not knowing what's around the corner.
Well, they can't touch you.
Yes, they can sometimes.
Yeah, I was probably like 7 years old. One of the actors came out and grabbed my ankle as I was walking through. Because of that, I got a terrible fear of someone hiding under my bed. So now I have that fear. And I'm always like, they can't touch you, they can't touch you. But they
That
did.
one did.
I like disturbing imagery, like if there's like weird symbols
Really?
and like, yeah, and like shadowy things you're not really quite sure what it is. Like if it's just in the corner and there's like a sheet over something that looks like there could be like a little girl underneath.
Mom, dear little kids, I just want to play.
I don't want to go over there. Like just something that makes you feel creeped out, not necessarily
Why
like,
do you think
wow.
you like that?
Not a lot of danger around every corner. So
Right.
around Halloween, you can feel that way.
Now we live pretty comfortable lives, but I think there's still this like innate thing in us that wants that scared feeling.
Keep going. Keep going. This was the whole thing. We're past all the scariness.
Oh, she's sad. I'm sorry.
I've never really enjoyed going to haunted houses, but today I get to experience what it's like being on the other side.
Have you ever been airbrushed before?
Never been airbrushed before. That is the strangest sensation. Like the smell, it's super cold, and I can feel like my skin is so tight. I love that the details matter here, that like every inch needs to be covered.
When you walk through a haunted house and you see someone with like pink nails, it kind of ruins it.
And they don't want any human aspects really showing that don't give that creepy vibe.
The venue opened. You got in position, Christopher got in position. It's dark, it's spooky, and you hear these screams from far, far away, and then they get closer, and they get closer.
It was like a adrenaline thing for the actor too. You know they're coming, but you don't know exactly when they're coming. So you're trying to peek through the leaves or peek around whatever corner you can or see a shadow so you know when you should be popping out.
This dog takes a lot of patience. I got so excited with that one. I said, okay, here we go.
Once you get into it, you're into it and you're committed to it because you don't want to break that experience for the guest, and it's actually kind of intoxicating. You and the team had left to go film other stuff. I was in there for like 20-30 minutes just by myself, just doing the thing. There's a little bit of a high, there's a little bit of like an excitement.
You can tell who's going to be scared because they kind of like walk by and they give you a glance, like don't come near me, don't come near me, and that's when you go. I had people try to high-five me after I just scared the living daylights out of them, but hey, that's what they're paying for. They're paying for their adrenaline to spike.
Why do you love Halloween?
Because I get to wear glitter on my face, and it's not weird.
This is my favorite part about Halloween, is being warm and cozy. I'm actually all the hot in this studio right now.
He says there is orange on that plaid. Do you see
You
any
can't
orange?
see it, zoom in, there is an orange stripe.
I love Halloween for dressing up because it's one of the few times a year it's like okay to do that.
Yeah.
Just like to be someone you're not. Putting on someone else's clothes.
Well, not
weird.
someone else's clothes.
Your clothes, not the
Your
clothes you wear
clothes.
every day.
And I don't think Halloween costumes have to be scary. I like them when they're like fun, whimsical.
I don't think I've ever really even worn a scary costume.
Neither have I. Maybe this year.
I either do glam or I go as dead, and I do some kind of like grotesque wound.
I also really love that Halloween's an excuse to try like really crazy makeup stuff.
Mad respect for the people who go all out. They do the makeup, you know,
Yeah.
like the whole deal, and you're
I mean,
like, wow,
respect.
that's impressive.
You're like the girl from The Grudge.
That's what you look like.
What about the ring?
Just be cousin it. We did it! I'm cousin it!
These look awesome. They look so good.
They do.
I love it.
The true test is other people's reactions.
Should we go freak some
Right.
people out?
Yup.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I was trying to crush it, you know, like the can on your head trick.
Right.
It went really good. They both had the same accident.
So weird.
You know who has the best costumes?
Who?
Lauren.
No.
I like to just like scour the internet and find something super random and figure out how to dress up like it. I have DIY'd my costumes for the past decade. My favorite of all time, which you actually were in on, was the human-sized traffic cone. It was so great. We went to work early. We stopped traffic by all sitting in the street as human-sized traffic cones. We won best group costume that year.
Do you think there'll be a day where like costumes will be the in thing? Like that's what we'll wear every day?
Well, I think you'd be really productive if you went to like work every day dressed as a superhero. I feel like you'd be ready
productive?
to like tackle the day.
Ready for an adventure. I feel the power already.
Like someone needs medical attention on an airplane, they're like, is there a doctor on board?
No, but there is
But
a
if
superhero.
everyone were dressed as a superhero, quick, we need a superhero, and you know, there'd be a bunch of them.
I just see this man with a Captain America costume like running. I'm coming!
And then my second favorite costume that I've ever done was the Squatty Potty Unicorn. And I even got a stuffed animal that was in the shape of a poop emoji. It was great.
I like the idea of spending time on a Halloween costume.
A great Halloween costume is all creativity, in my opinion.
I like obscure costumes, so maybe not scary, spooky, but something that's like creative and like witty. I love punny costumes. Those are my like one of my favorites.
I like the like, wait, oh my God, that's hilarious costume.
I like group costumes. I don't tend to do much costuming by myself. I'm so excited.
All right, take the helmet off.
I have no articulation. We did the cast of Saved by the Bell, but it was hilarious and it was so much fun. Our whole office, we decorated like Bayside High, so we made lockers, we put up signs everywhere. We probably took a week to prepare for this and didn't work at all that whole week. It was just all in preparation.
I think that's acceptable. I think that's how it should be.
We did a haunted house party a couple years ago and went all out.
Monsters eating you.
Orchard with eyeballs staring at you.
Flaming pumpkin heads.
Edible glass out of sugar.
Bloody like message that said, don't look behind you.
Everything was decked.
Spent all day getting ready and everyone showed up around like 9:30. I was passed out by 11.
I have been to a few Halloween parties that have been ridiculous.
I feel like you're looking at me as if I threw one of those. Oh wait, I've been to one of those.
Horrific.
This is an R-rated story, Christopher.
Well, we might not be able to add this.
As someone who does normally like talk to people at parties, like I'm not the social butterfly of like, hey, you. If someone is wearing a costume, it immediately gives you like a conversation piece. Like, oh, you like Superman, huh?
But you're right that a costume is a great conversation starter.
On Halloween, that's the night to meet people. You'll always have a way to start a conversation with someone.
You should have a costume. I usually like doing something that's like kind of not like a character, so you don't know who it's supposed to be. It's just like a pirate or a something, you know, like it's some theme, but not a specific individual.
Oh, that fits so nice. It's like it was made for me. How's that look?
Like if you're doing an accent or you're doing something, it's not like, oh, you don't sound like Johnny Depp.
Same
I'm
way.
just a pirate, like I don't have to be Jack Sparrow. Don't be the like, I don't want to, I'm just myself.
No, don't be that person.
But then, you know what? It's not fun.
Then don't come out.
That's the point of Halloween, is have fun, and the more you put in, the more you get out.
This is so cool.
So it actually velcros together and then straps to your head.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like what you want. You don't want the cheap Darth Vader.
Definitely
you want
not
like
the
the legit good Darth Vader. How many costumes are back here?
Upwards of 28,000 rental costumes alone in the building. Your costume is unique in general when you rent costumes from us because there's normally not a duplicate of that costume. It's either handmade or it's vintage or we made it in-house or bought it from somebody who makes costumes. So that guy is heavy, so be careful.
So heavy.
I have a matching shield to it. There's your shield.
Oh my goodness.
Go fight people.
Yeah, go fight. You're gonna do something awesome. The vibe you get when you wear something real just makes it just all that more authentic of an experience, I feel like. This is great. It's like so well made. It's so sturdy. Yeah, I don't think you're buying this online.
Yeah, definitely
not.
This
Not
is
affordably
hand
anyway.
tooled.
I got you, chicken.
That's just a result in itself that is so satisfying to be able to get people happy to go to their parties and be in a costume. Like,
Well, and I like being able to come in and see all the different pieces. That way you can mix and match it, build your own thing, and find that inspiration that you're talking about.
Definitely.
So you're not like, oh, I'm gonna be this one thing, and like, do you have it or not? You can come in and like walk away with something totally unexpected that you weren't even planning on, but you just really like it, and it's something you made that no one else has. I think that's such a unique and interesting experience.
When it comes to Halloween, I think there's like two camps. There's the scary, creepy, really realistic camp that people like about Halloween, but then there's like the cutesy, spooky camp.
I subscribe to the cute and spooky version of Halloween. I don't like the blood and the guts and the gore and the murder and the devil and...
I completely disagree.
No, I really like the paranormal, creepy, like messed up. Like that's what I like.
You do?
Yeah.
Every other holiday is cutesy. Valentine's is cutesy.
we need
Christmas
another
is
cute holiday.
cutesy. St. Patrick's Day is cutesy. Easter is like, oh my God, vomit, pastel colors everywhere. So Halloween is the one time that you can edge it up.
You want Casper, the friendly ghost.
The friendly ghost. I want Hocus Pocus.
Not poltergeist.
Not poltergeist.
Because I don't like being scared and I'm a very paranoid person. I always have been. So when I listen to a scary podcast or see a scary movie, it will haunt me for a very long time.
One of my favorite horror movies is probably The Exorcist because I saw it like kind of young and it really disturbed me. It's
And
like,
that's a good thing?
Yeah.
I want none of it. Hocus Pocus I will do, or I'll watch like Harry Potter movies.
Hocus Pocus is my jam.
That's like the go-to, the number one, I think.
Oh, it's gotta be.
It was either like Scream or I Know What You Did Last Summer or whatever. I started to get creeped out, so I went in the garage and got a baseball bat, and then like just held the baseball bat sitting like curled up in the corner on the couch watching the rest of the movie. It made me feel so much better.
I'm like a sensitive soul. I have had to leave movies before because I'm too scared. As an adult, the worst ones, I saw The Ring. When I was 11, I didn't sleep without my light on for 2 months. I'm not kidding. I had to take the TV out of my room. I think like my mom considered therapy.
I saw The Ring, that one terrified me.
I never saw it, but I had really curly, long hair, and I would, at sleepovers, flip my hair over my face and go close to my friends' faces and wait for them to
I think there are more good Halloween movies than there are any other holiday movie.
There's the cheap ones, but there's usually some like high-end, you know, and like, because usually they're not that cheesy. Like some of the other holidays get the really like, oh, family, and you know, the whole meaning behind the holidays. So like Halloween, it's like, what's the moral of Halloween? Survive.
I saw an early screening of Paranormal Activity.
Nope.
And they did not tell me that it was fake. So it looks like a documentary, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, what is going on? This is terrible. I was freaking
You thought it was real
terrified.
found footage?
Yes!
Do you believe in like the paranormal?
I do, but I don't want to mess with it.
So have you been any place actually haunted? Like an abandoned like building, a graveyard?
I have, but I haven't like experienced anything supernatural, but I do have one supernatural story. And it was with a Ouija board.
You keep trying to test the devil.
I was like 10 years old, and I was at my friend's house, and I don't know why we decided to play with Ouija board, but we did. We were trying to like figure out who we were speaking to. And then we heard a huge crash outside the room, and we were like, like throw everything away. The cat supposedly had knocked something over, but that was my one and only experience with a Ouija board.
Like I would never invite a spirit into my body or anything like creepy. Cause yeah, it's probably all just not gonna do anything. Maybe, you hope, fingers crossed.
Everybody just wants to know who you are because you seem to hang around these parts. Somebody's talking over here next to me. And I thought it said, I'm not evil.
Have you ever played the like Bloody Mary
No,
game?
absolutely not.
I should play it.
Absolutely not.
Because you never know when it's gonna be the real thing, and no thank you.
I'd like to mess with it a little bit. Like I'm just curious, like
That's playing with fire.
people will say like, I saw someone, like I saw this person in this hotel and it wasn't a real person. And I wanna have that experience.
I don't believe in like, yeah, no, I believe in all of it, yeah.
That's because you and your Ouija board are over there trying to talk to the dead spirits. Absolutely not. I appreciate it from afar. I'm like, okay, yeah, if that's haunted, if that's spooky, you do you over there, but I'm not gonna be a part of it.
My approach is like, I believe that you think you saw that. It was a real experience for you.
Yes.
But was it really there? And then it's like, oh, well, you're not open to it, so that's why you're blocked off from the spirit. I'm like, okay, well.
I'm open to it though.
Careful how open you are, you might let something in.
One tip, if you do think there is a ghost, good or bad, and you want to know for sure.
Ghost tips?
You have to be very specific. I always say, if you're here, show me yourself in the form of a white butterfly. The first time I did this, I'm not kidding, we were driving in Austria, and 30 minutes later, we drove through like a cluster of hundreds of white butterflies.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that crazy?
When it comes to ghosts and possession and these energy forces, I think it's just something we haven't figured out yet. I do think there is something, and we just don't know what it is yet.
So this camera shoots out infrared light, so it can basically see in the dark. Pitch black for us, but the camera can see everything.
So let's see, we had some activity going on earlier. Let's see if we can get Lorena to do her thing for us, right? This is Lorena. They can't keep her head on. Goes left, goes right. She's got real hair, real eyelashes. The lady that dropped her off, her name's Joy. We believe that Joy's passed away. And Joy left this doll here, said she would return for her. And this is the barber chair where the two mannequins were sitting in here. They closed up the doors on a Saturday. They came back on a Monday, and the mannequins were spread to 4 different corners. We've heard screams from this corner down here. We've heard a rustle of like a dress walking through here, so we're gonna go ahead and investigate, see if we can find. Are you back for your doll, Lorena? Don't be afraid, we're not here to harm you. We're here just to communicate with you. Give me a sign you're here with us, please. Lorena? What do you think, guys?
Get like weird feeling in this room.
So this is where we caught the little girl right here. So we should probably put something along this bench here too. Were you the one asking for help earlier? Let the little one come through. I want to speak to the little girl. Angel. Did you just hear a little girl?
Yeah.
That wasn't Eva? Sarah? That wasn't Sarah? Did you just hear a little girl? This is Katie. Grab that wand. Come on, Katie. Is that you? Who's in this room right now?
Paps.
Does that say Paps?
There's one thing about Halloween that makes me very sad whenever I think about it. And that's the fact that literally no house I've ever lived in have there been trick-or-treaters. What the heck?
When I was a kid, trick-or-treating felt like it was forever.
I know,
it
like
was an
I used
all-night
to feel like
experience.
I would go for hours.
With little kids, it's like 30 minutes, an hour
Yeah.
at most, you know?
I went trick-or-treating in high school. I never went trick-or-treating as a kid because I kind of lived in the country.
What?
Do you have any tips for trick-or-treating?
Don't do it if you're over 13. If you're in high school, you are not allowed to trick-or-treat anymore.
I went trick-or-treating in high school.
I don't think there's any rules on age for trick-or-treating.
Really? What about like a 30-year-old?
The bigger the hat, the more impressive, I think. Put all your candy in there. You know, trick or treat, put in your utility belt. Oh, yeah. I love this stuff.
That'd be okay, I'd be okay with that.
Really?
Yeah. If they're participating in an appropriate way.
You're like old enough to drive, go buy your own candy.
Favorite trick-or-treating night, this is so me, but one of the houses forgot to get candy, so he passed out slices of pizza. And I have a very great memory of that.
Here's a caramel apple.
Don't eat that. If someone hands you a caramel apple, that's not in the candy okay zone.
Why? You think like a witch gave it to me?
It has to be wrapped. No, no.
But I want to eat it.
Get the good candy. Don't be the sweet tart house. You go to that house and all you
The
get is
Laffy
sweet
Taffy.
tarts. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, you're kidding me.
Give me that like the super jumbo Snickers, just throw it in the bag and that gets me. What? This house is amazing! You're not gonna remember the house that lets you take a handful of candy. You're gonna remember the house that gave you a full legit like pack of M&Ms or like full Snickers bar.
My dad used to take us to this one neighborhood every year, and they always gave the big candy bars.
Oh, a whole candy bar.
But when I was little, we used to just like walk out the front door and like walk around the neighborhood. As we grew up, we had to start going to another neighborhood because our neighborhood wasn't hopping anymore.
But I feel like people go trick-or-treating earlier and earlier now. Because I feel like the last few years that I've helped pass out candy with my family, the trick-or-treaters come at like 4 or 5 o'clock.
Well, the parents just want their kids to go to bed on time, so they're like, let's go, kids,
It's not
before
even
dinner.
It's not even dark outside, and the trick-or-treaters are like, done.
What are you looking for when you're picking a pumpkin?
My dad made up a pumpkin story. It would just be about how the farmer spends all year, watering his pumpkins and growing them, and there's a perfect pumpkin, but he's perfect just for me. And it was this really like sentimental, adorable father-daughter story.
But I really like a perfect pumpkin. I want a uniform, all deep orange, good stem pumpkin.
I like the pumpkin patch. It makes it like there's a lot more pumpkin
Oh
options.
yeah, an even bigger experience, right? Because a lot of times they have the other farm elements. So you can go, pet a goat while you pick a pumpkin.
If you want to make those memories, it's like about having an experience. Go to the grocery store, buy a pumpkin. It's just like any other day you go to the grocery store. But if you go out of your way to go someplace you've never been before, to do something you've never done before, or you only do once a year, that is like I love about the fall and just making memories, because it's a time where you can get out and about and do a lot of different activities that are all around this kind of Halloween festive time of year.
I think probably as a kid I would go for the biggest one possible. But now I'm like, what's the smallest circumference of surface so that I have an excuse for why I don't have a lot of room to carve it? I hate carving pumpkins.
You do?
Yes, it's so messy, first of all
It
the
is
guts,
messy.
and then it's so hard.
I usually go wherever the knife takes me. So I usually don't go in carving a jack-o'-lantern with anything in mind. Kind of just start somewhere, and then I go like, oh, he's looking kind of happy this year. Oh, he's looking kind of angry this year.
Every time I'm so excited. Get all the stuff, get the pumpkins, we're ready to go. Maybe 20 minutes in, I get over it really quickly.
I tried to get fancy with it for a couple years where I would do the stencil and I would like pat the water on it, and then I would like, saw it for hours, and then I gave up on that.
This is Villafane Studios, which is kind of like a magical wonderland. You go through this little hobbit hole and you're in this like super cool place with so much detail.
But Ray takes it to a whole nother level. These are 3D carvings in the pumpkin using pottery tools.
These are called ribbon loops, and they're not very sharp. You can't. It's very difficult to cut yourself with something like this.
Yeah,
It's
they
just
scrape. They're kind of abrasive.
It's more of a shaving a pumpkin. My goal is to be like the Santa Claus of Halloween. I want to come out once a year with all the stuff that we've been creating, make a magical experience for people to enjoy. That display is the Enchanted Pumpkin Garden. I bring in sculptors from all over the world, and we're doing live carvings. We have the scarecrows that we build. We have the mice. And at the base, at the core of it all is some fun storytelling. Almost every single time as a kid when I sat down to do a pumpkin, I would grab the pumpkin, I'd look at it and I'd say, okay, what sort of triangle should I do now? And when I completed it, always the emptiness in me, like this was it. After college one day, I got a pumpkin and said, I wonder what happened if I try to carve it three-dimensional, like if I'm doing a wood carving. So you could make something so incredibly magical, and most of the value that comes out of it is really up to you to perceive. A lot of people tell me that I must be patient, like especially when they see the rocks, or if I'm sitting there carving something wow, I don't have that patience, and I'm not a patient person at all. I think if most people engaged what they love to do, they wouldn't need to be patient. But often people are looking at a trophy and not enjoying the game that they've decided is the path to get them to that trophy. And when you do things like that, you need patience because you need to weather through the grind. But if you start to tend to yourself and pay attention and discover who you are and what turns you on, what you like, then you no longer need to even think about the word patience. It's the set point or the direction you're going that you enjoy. So the goals that I have for this world that I'm creating, they're gonna happen because I'm enjoying the process of it, and I'm not gonna stop, and I'm gonna keep pushing it in a playful way that I know will resonate with people and hopefully inspire them to discover themselves a little bit more.
But fall has a lot of like nostalgic things tied to it, and that, I'm so sorry. No, I'm just kidding.
I like that it signals the start of the holidays. You're waiting for it. Is it time yet? Is it time yet? Is it time yet? And then Halloween hits, and then it's Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year, and you have all the things.
Pumpkin carving with your friends, it's a social thing, and then Thanksgiving and Christmas, and there's all these events leading up to all of those holidays that you get to spend some really unique time with your friends.
Summer's so hectic, so busy, so much going on, and fall's like an opportunity to like slow down a little bit. Because fall's a time for reflection. Hearing people is the best part, and there's a little bit of a high. There's so many components to Halloween. It's like costumes and decorating and haunted houses. I feel like the one holiday that has so many aspects to it, and you can find your own way to celebrate Halloween. Like it's different for everybody.
You worship the devil or you have cutesy witches.
It's funny because I think you go from like Halloween, which is like weird and out there and you get to be big and loud, get out the pent up energy, and then it leads you just so nicely into like, now I can be cozy with my family.
Make it spooky if you want, make it scary if you want, like make it super fun, make it a party, make it whatever you want. Really, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
So it's just about like making it the best celebration possible.
Oh my goodness, look at this.
Check out this video where we show you how to upgrade those costumes with rentals. It's kind of genius. It's like one shot, you go, you rummage through all this stuff, and then you have the coolest Halloween costume at the party. You're welcome.